everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so excited to have you here today. In today's video, we're going to be using our Cricut Explore 3 and we are going to make some stickers. These are really fun and this is a great introduction to print and cut. I'm going to show you how we do some offsets and also what is bleed for when you make stickers. So we're going to do some that are full color all the way to the edges. I'm going to show you how to upload some designs and also how to use designs from Cricut Design Space to create these stickers. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to show you two different ways that we can make some print and cut items with our Cricut Explore 3. So the first way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use some images from Design Space. Now, if you have access, this is going to be a lot easier, but remember, we do not have to have access. And I'll link a video down below where I talk to you all about how to get around having Design Space access. But I'm going to go to the advanced image search and I'm going to change the operation type here. I want to click on print and cut and it's only going to show me print and cut images. Now, from here, you can kind of get it down to what you want to print and cut. So I want to look for a cat. So I can just search the word cat and it's going to bring up all the different cats that I can use with print and cut. And there's lots of different options. So you can kind of scroll through. I actually think this one's kind of cool. I like that one a lot. So we'll use him maybe. Now that I see it, he's kind of ugly. I don't want to use that one. So we'll find a cat that we like and then I'll show you what we do next. Okay, I found this little kitty. He's pretty cute. So we're going to click on him. And all I have to do here is I can just add it to canvas. Now what's nice is they have a bunch of the different colors too right under it. So if we want to make a few of these, we can just click the little plus button and it's going to put all the different colored cats that look like that cat onto our canvas. So we're going to go back to our canvas now and it'll have all of our different kitty cats on it. So it loads them right here. Now we will resize these in just a minute. But I want to get this guy and I want to just get him to the right size because he's a little bit big. So I'm just going to change his sizing so he's the same size as these other cats. But we'll size them down because they're still a little bit big. But what I want you to see is if I move these, you can't tell if there's an offset on them at all. And I personally like to have an offset on my sticker. I think it makes them look a little bit nicer. I think that when they cut out, they just look better in general. So if you can't see the offset, a really easy way is to change the color of your canvas. So if you click down here where it says blank canvas, and then you click right here in the center where it says color, you can change this to any color that you want, and that will help you see if your design has an offset. And you can see that this one has a very small offset. Now, I personally do prefer a larger offset, especially when I have little pieces like these whiskers. So if I want to make an additional offset on them and make it just a little bit wider, it's very easy. Select the item that you want to use and you're going to choose offset and then you're going to give it a second and it's going to load. Now that's a little bit too big. So what I want to do is use this little slide bar and I can slide this down so that it's a little bit smaller and you can use the numbers up here as well if you prefer, whichever you want, but I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Now you'll see that that offset is currently gray. I'm going to change the color of that to white. And now you'll see that it looks like our design has a thicker offset, but we need to do one more step. I need to select my design and my offset, and I need to choose the flatten option. That tells Cricut Design Space not to cut around the sticker itself, but to cut around the outside offset. Now I'm going to add an offset to each of them, and luckily Design Space actually saves the size of your offset, so you can just click offset, change that offset to white, and then just select the cat and the offset and flatten. So I'm going to do that to the remaining 3 cats really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how we add a different kind of sticker if you want to use one that's outside of Design Space.
I'd run 1,000 miles if I could run with you.
Now that I have all the offsets on my cat, let's go over and download some designs and I'm going to show you how we work with those. I'm going to be using these Rainbow Unicorn Cute Sticker Bundle and I'll link it down below if you want to use it. But all I'm going to do is click download files and you can see here that I've got quite a few different files. What you want to do is you want to use this Unicorn Stickers zip one. That's going to have all of your files in it and we will need to extract our folder, but it's really easy to do. I'm going to put these into my E3 sticker folder and click save. Then once it's downloaded, I want to open that folder. Once I open the folder is when I can start working with the extract. If you don't extract your folder, you're not going to be able to use it. So you can see here, you can see all the files. There's a ton of these stickers. There's a lot of them. So what I'm going to do is click extract all and then simply click extract. Once my folder is extracted, you see that I have all of my little unicorns, so I can close this folder. Now, if you want to look at them a little bit bigger, you can just double click on them and it will open your stickers so that you can see them better. If you want to like go through and choose which ones you want. For this, I'm just going to pick randomly what to upload, but these are very cute. Now let's head back over to Design Space. I'm going to keep this folder open and show you how I upload to Design Space. Now over on Design Space, what you're going to do is you're going to select the upload option over here on the left-hand side. It's going to open up your like folder here that's got all your recent uploads, but what I want to do is click upload image, and you can browse for it, but because I leave the folder open, I can just drag and drop the images that I want to use. I just open up the folder and then I simply drag it and drop it over into Design Space. Now, like I said, I'm just picking random ones. If you want to choose specific, that's fine. Now, these are PNG images with a transparent background, but these do have the offset already built in since they're made to be stickers. So I don't have to do anything on this screen. I can just click apply and continue. Now, this screen can be a little bit confusing, so let me explain it to you if you're new to Cricut. If not, skip ahead, it's totally fine. You've got three options. You have multi-layers, which is something that you would use if you wanted to cut a design with vinyl in a bunch of different layers, but we definitely don't want to do that. This image has too much shading. The single layer you can see is all black, and that again would be used if we were just going to cut this with vinyl. But because we're going to cut this as a print and cut, we want to choose flat graphic because that keeps all the color. It makes sure that Cricut knows that it's print and cut, and then you click continue. From here, you can rename your sticker if you want to, add any keywords, and put it into any of your collections. That makes it easier to find later if you want to use it again. Then simply click upload. And these usually do upload pretty large because they are typically like decent sized files. So you may get a sticker that comes across really, really big, like 30 inches wide, and that's okay. You can resize it. These aren't too bad, so they should be fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload a few more just so that we can use these images. We'll make a couple of the unicorns and a couple of the cats. Once you have all of the designs into your Cricut Design Space, you'll notice that these ones just say print and cut and not the flatten option because we don't need to flatten them. Cricut will already know to cut around our white area. One thing I want to point out is this little triangle. If you click on it, it says the image will print poorly. For best results, make it smaller or use a new image with a higher resolution. So I get that warning quite often depending on the design. And it's totally fine. I haven't had any like really glaring issues as far as print quality is concerned. And we are going to make these smaller. They're pretty big. A 5-inch sticker is pretty large in my opinion. I usually don't like to go any bigger than about 2 inches depending on what I'm making. So I will size all of these down. Now, what I like to do when I size my stickers down is I will look at my width and my height. And whichever one is larger will be the number that I change. So I want this to be a 2-inch sticker. So I'm going to change my height to 2, and you'll see that it sizes this down. So I'm going to do that for each of my stickers here. I'm going to just figure out which side is the widest or the highest. And for this one, it's wider than it is tall. So then I'm going to just go ahead and size it down. So I'll do that for all of them, including the kitty cats. And then I'll come back and I'm going to show you how we line these up so that we make sure that we can fill a lot of our sheet. We want to make sure we have a decent area that we're not going to waste a lot of materials.
I wanna say forever, we could be good together. Guess mystery loves company.
So now that I have them all sized down, I'm going to use my print and cut template, which I'll link below. It's totally free that you can download from my website, but it really helps you line up your stickers and save as much space as you can. This is the print and cut template, and this is for letter size. I have them available for all different sticker paper sizes, so whichever you have, you can use. But what you're going to do is once you've loaded it in, right click on it and send this to the back, and that way all your stickers will sit on top of it because we're going to line our stickers up so that they fill in as much of our sheet as possible. Now, one thing I want you to note with Cricut Design Space, they don't want anything that goes beyond this little section here and this little section on the side. So you'll see that when I line these up, I line them up so that they fit within that little area. So while they claim they give us a larger print and cut section, it's really not that much larger. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up. So all I'm going to do is put them a little bit closer together. You don't want them touching. You don't want them to overlap. But I do just try to fit as many as I can onto my page. I'm also going to show you another set of stickers because I think I can fit another set so that you can really get an idea of some of the things that the Cricut will do to stickers if given the option. So as you can see, I'm just lining these guys up. And I'm just going to add these little kitty cats over here. And like I said, I think I can fit another line of stickers. So I'll add something else so that I can show you another little option, or at least I can add a few more stickers. So it should be fine. So I'm going to get that guy a little closer. So I'm going to go into the images. And again, I'm going to go to this advanced search option. And then I'm going to just choose the print and cut option. But what's really kind of cool is you can really use most of the SVGs and things for stickers, and I'll link a video down below that really goes into a lot of detail about stickers and what you can do and what you can use. But for this, I just want to show you how to make them. So I want to find a print and cut item that doesn't have any like color around it or an offset. So what I want to do, like these flowers might work really well. I think I will use the flowers. The flowers look like they'll work really well. So I'm going to add a couple of these flowers. I'm just going to pick like those two will be fine. So then I'm going to go over into my design here. Now I've got a little bit of an orangish red flower and then this pink one. Now I'm not going to add any kind of offset to these so that you can see, because I'm going to leave the bleed on. And this is going to show you what bleed does, because I think that a lot of people get really confused with bleed and why we would want to keep bleed on. So bleed will actually push the color of these flower stickers out away from them just a little bit, so that if the Cricut cuts off centered just a little, it's okay and it will not show. Now we are going to calibrate our machine before we do anything else, and I am going to show you how to do that as well. Since I just got my machine, haven't used it yet, I want to make sure that I calibrate it, and you'll need to calibrate your machine from time to time. Now I'm going to make a couple of these, so I'm just going to do Control C and Control V, and I am going to make these a bit smaller because I do just want to fit them in here just so we can take up some space, and that way you really kind of get a good idea of what the bleed is going to do. Now, when you're using bleed, I would recommend that you make your stickers a little bit further apart. Because these ones just have white around them, I'm not worried about them like overlapping at all or anything. But with this one, I wouldn't want it quite like that close. They're not touching, but there's just a little too much bleed that'll push out and it'll end up into that white of our cat. So that's why we're just going to kind of make sure that these ones are a little more spread out. So I'm just going to add, I think maybe like one more of these little guys, and that should be plenty. That's going to take up a lot of our sticker paper. I could fill a few more little things in, but I'm fine with this since we're just showing you how to do this. Now, once you've got this all filled out, you want to make sure that you hide this letter size, which is your print and cut template. So go ahead and use this little eyeball and hide it. The next thing that you're going to need to do is select all of your designs. You can just draw a square around them and you can attach them. You can also use the flatten option. Either one will work, but I tend to use attach most of the time. And it just is going to hold them in place and tell Cricut Design Space that we want this all held where it is. Now I'm going to save this and I'm going to call mine E3 stickers since that's what this video is for, and click save, but you save them for whatever you want. I always recommend saving your project. Even if it's not a project you're ever going to do again, save it before you hit make, and that way you don't have to worry about it getting messed up. And then when you're done with it, you can just delete it out of your projects, but definitely save it before you hit the make button. Now I'm going to hit make, and it's going to bring us up a screen that is going to give us a few little information pieces. So here it shows you where it's going to print. Now you'll note that there's a big black line around it. It will not print that black line. That just shows you the edge of your design. If you click away from it, you'll see that it kind of hides everything. And this isn't even what it's going to look like when it prints, because it will print some registration marks. So from here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click continue. And this is where we're going to send our design to our printer. So what you're going to do is click this green button that says send to printer. Now this is where it's going to show us our registration mark. So this should be what it's going to look like pretty exactly when we print this. So the first thing that you'll want to do is make sure that you have the correct printer selected. I need to use my ET2720, which is my inkjet printer. Now keep in mind that you can do print then cut with any printable material, cardstock, copy paper, whatever it may be, whatever your heart desires. You can make stickers. You do what you want to do with it, because you don't just have to make stickers. I'm going to be using stickers because I have a ton of sticker paper that I can use, but you can do this with anything. Now, you can tell it how many copies you want. We just want one. And then this here is the add bleed. We want to make sure to leave that on. If you click this little eye, it kind of tells you a little bit about it. Bleed extends ink slightly beyond border of image to eliminate white margin once the image is cut. Now, if you have your Cricut calibrated really well, not really something you have to totally worry about. Or if you have a white offset around your stickers, it also won't matter. But because we have these stickers that have no offset, and I want to show you the bleed option, I want to use that for sure, because we don't want any like white showing around those little flowers. But like I said, it won't matter around the unicorns or the cats. Now, I want to make sure that I use my system dialog. What that does is that's going to open up a box for your printer. Now, when you click print, it won't send it to the printer because it needs to open that box. And this is where we can set some settings to make sure that we get a really good print onto our sticker paper or our cardstock or whatever we are using. Now, again, you want to make sure that you double check which printer is selected. So again, I want to choose my ET2720, and I'll link my favorite Epson printer down below for you guys. I absolutely love my Epsons. Then you're going to go to preferences, and in here, again, I always just double check my letter size or my document size. And then I change my paper type. Now, I find that depending on what kind of paper I'm using, what kind of sticker paper I'm using, it will depend on which type of setting I use. Now, for this one, I'm going to be using some haze paper, which I find works really well on the premium photo paper Glossy, not the ultra, the premium. The ultra puts out a little bit too much ink, so I want to make sure that I'm not doing that. Then I want to make sure to change my quality from standard to high. Then I want to go under more options, and I want to turn off the high-speed print. That's going to prevent any lines from coming out in my print. Now, if you're not seeing all of these settings when you open up your printer dialog, it's because your drivers for your printer were not fully installed. So all you have to do is go to your printer's manufacturer's website, and then there should be a search option, and just search drivers and your printer model number, and you'll be able to re-download those and reinstall your drivers, which will give you these settings. Now, once you have all those settings changed, simply click OK and then click print to send it to your printer. Now, I still have to load my sticker paper, so I'm not going to click that right now. But once we're done, I'm going to show you what the bleed looks like before we get ready to cut. Here in Cricut, to make sure we calibrate our Explore, what you're going to do is go over to your profile and click the down arrow, go under Settings, and then under Machines. You'll see here we have Machine Calibration, and you're going to select which device, and we're going to use our Explore 3. And then click Start. Now you're going to want to print out the printable page here, the calibration page. I've printed mine already, so I can say I have a calibration sheet, and then click Continue. It's going to tell you how to load your mat. You want to place the sheet in the top left corner of your mat, and then click Continue. I'm going to click Continue, and from here it's going to connect to our machine, so I need to select my Explore 3. I'm connected via USB. I found my Bluetooth to be a little bit weird today, so we're just going to go with the USB. It gives a better connection. Now it's going to tell you make sure your fine point blade is loaded and all of that, and then you're going to insert your mat under the guidelines and press load. Now I'm going to load my machine here. I've got my calibration sheet ready, and I'm going to hit load. Once it's loaded, your machine will pull it in, double check its length, and it will make sure that everything's ready to go. I'm going to get the machine just a little better into view for you guys. Now it's going to turn on a little light here in the center, and that's what will read the lines around it. So all we have to do is press go here on the machine, which is that little triangle button. Now she gets a little violent, so she's going to pull it in. And now what it's going to do is it's reading these lines, and I don't know how well you guys can see, but there is a little light on under the carrier right in the center. It's reading the lines that are around it, and that's what's telling the machine where to cut. The first thing it's going to cut is that little square that's in the center of the sheet, and we'll have to look at that and see if it has cut it well as soon as it's done.
You know we could do better.
this happens where it'll pull it up. That's okay. I can get an idea of if it cut it well, and I don't think that it did. It looks like it's cutting super high over here and super wide over on this side. So over on our computer, you're going to tell it, no, let's do the basic calibration, and click continue. Now what it's going to do is it's going to go through and it's going to cut along the number lines here and then the letter lines here, and you're going to look to see which of the lines is most close to center. Now while it's doing that, I just want you to know I always print out extra sheets because you're likely going to need to do this more than once, and sometimes it does help if you change your mat if yours is pulling a lot. But a lot of times that's just the nature of the calibration. Sometimes it just rips the paper.
Show you how it feels to roll the dice. You know you want it, just say the word.
So now that it's pulled this out, what I like to do is I'll get my phone out and I use my flashlight just so I can see the lines that it cut really well, so I can get a better idea. And for this one, it looks like 10 is the closest to the center with J. So over on our computer, you're going to select your top line, and I said 10. So scroll to 10, and then my right line was the letter J, and those were the closest to center. And then I'm going to click continue. Now it's going to say that our basic calibration is complete and we can unload our mat. Now I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to put a new one on, and we're going to do a calibration again because this is how you make sure that your machine calibrates really well. And I'm going to try putting it on this side of the mat, which might be a little stickier. And I'm just going to press it down really well, especially right where this square is, because I just want to make sure that it doesn't come up. Now that it's cut the square again, now you notice this time it didn't pull it up. I used the stickier part. I'm going to use my pin pen to pull this away. And what you want is a nice even square around here. Now it is better than it was last time, but it's still not great. So I'm again going to tell it on my computer, no, I want to do another basic calibration. Click continue. And again, it's going to cut all these lines and all these lines.
We do it just for fun. You only get so many trips around the sun.
Now again, it's done. I'm going to take my phone just so I can see the lines. It's just me because I'm blind, but if you're having trouble see the lines, this can really help. So I think here we have 11 is really close. Oh, I'm torn because 12 is really close too. 11, I'm going to say 12 is closer. And then now K is closer. So we're going to say 12 and K. So again, I'm going to choose that top line here, and that was 12. And our right line is the letter K. Go ahead and click continue. And again, we can do without the basic calibration. Now you see why I need so many sheets, because you do want to do this a couple times. So I'm going to do this as many more times as I need to in order to make sure that it comes out perfectly. And then I'm going to go ahead and get ready to cut the stickers that we created. Here are the stickers that we're going to cut, and I want to get these a little bit closer and hopefully get it to focus. But these are the ones that have the bleed on them, and you can see the edges look a little blobby, and that's totally normal. It's just pushing the color out to the edge. And I'm using some sticker paper here, and I'm going to cut this, and I want a die cut sticker, so I'm going to cut these on a heavier cut setting. I'm going to use the medium cardstock setting. But what you do is you load them onto your mat, and you're going to see that up here in this upper left-hand corner is a little arrow. That little arrow should be in that upper left-hand corner because that's how you're going to load this into your machine. You want to make sure that you're using a decently sticky mat for this, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my project so that we can get this cut out. I've got this set to the medium cardstock setting, so I'm going to load my stickers in, hit the load button. Again, making sure your stickers are set to the right direction. If you don't, it will mess up your stickers. And then it's going to go ahead and, again, do what it did for calibration, where it's going to read the registration marks, which are the marks in the four corners. Then it will go ahead and cut everything out.
I wanna say forever, we could be good together. Guess mystery loves company. Better to late than never. You know we could do better. So take a chance and run with me. Everywhere we go, we turn.
Now, before before you take your stickers out of your machine by using the unload button, I always double check my cut just to make sure. I wanted it to cut through like a die cut, which it did so beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and unload this. And I'm also gonna show you my sticker sheet. Let me get my machine out of the way so you can see this better. This is the sheet that it cut out of. And do you see how there's color around these stickers, which is where the roses were, and there isn't color around the others? That is your bleed. And you'll notice that, I'm gonna keep these on the mat just for now. You'll notice that the roses don't have any white around them, but the other ones that have our offsets do. So that's just a way to help prevent any of the white coming off of your design here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and unload this from my mat, and then I'll show you what they all look like. Anytime I remove a paper product that might curl from my mat, I always flip my mat backwards. That way I can just peel the stickers off or whatever it may be and don't curl them or damage them in any way. It just makes it easier to get them off. I think these came out really, really nice. Wait till you see them up close. They're really pretty, super colorful, and super easy to do. You'll notice that we have the offsets around the unicorns and the cats, and then there is no white around those flowers because we used the bleed. Now, making stickers with your Explore 3 is super easy, and make sure that you do calibrate your machine from time to time. It's not something that you just have to do once and it's good forever. You may need to calibrate every couple of months or so. It just depends on the machine. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer you guys and help you with anything that you need. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial, and as always, happy crafting!